starts, can I ask everyone to close their laptops, okay? Be a good audience, listen. Just focus on the speaker. Focus on what they're saying so you can prepare a question to ask the question-answer session. Okay, go ahead, Edward.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, the main reason why we're all here is that we have to decide whether affirmative action is good or bad idea. I'm standing here right now and talking because my team is against of affirmative action. And we think that this is not a good thing. As we all know, affirmative action leads us to racism due to separation by race. We don't think that people in the universities should be separated or discriminated in any ways. We think that application should only be based on our knowledge and personal experience, but never on the race color. We think that whether you're white, black, or Asian, you always should be accepted to universities only because of your improvements and achievements. So I would like to ask you today, would you like to be, if you apply to universities, would you like to be discriminated by affirmative action, or how would you feel if your friend or your relative would be discriminated? So today this is the question I would like to ask you guys. Thank you.
Это недолго. А? Это недолго. У меня хоть спички.
Edward was person 1 and 2, so can I invite person 1 and 2 from the other team?
Пойдет, да?
Писал.
Okay.
Hello everybody. How many years is your country exist? Was your family always majority in your country? Seems like yes, because we have Chinese people from China, Russian people from Russia, and yeah, I mean this nations never was discriminated in these countries. Everybody probably heard about discrimination in America when African American people were discriminated just because of their nation. It was a hard form of discrimination because they historically were slaves just because of their race. That's obviously bad. And nowadays government and society wants to make all race and people as equal as possible. That is why they made affirmative actions. It's, if somebody doesn't know, it's when employers helps minority nations to find jobs, and I think it's really good because it makes all nations are equal. Yeah, my team is for affirmative actions.
Okay, thank you. I'll invite team, I'll call this team Team A on the side where I'm sitting, and you guys are Team B, let's say. So Team A, I invite you to ask a question of Team B. I'll give you 1 minute. So try to phrase everything as a question and then allow them to respond.
What if none of our families were discriminated in the past?
Because in this case you probably understand what's discrimination is in your country.
No, if they did.
When you're from your country.
What ethnicities are discriminated in Russia?
Hmm?
What ethnicities are discriminated in Russia?
Uh,
Are there any affirmative action?
I think people from Middle Asia, yeah, there are affirmative actions, like they can be cleaners, for example, I don't know. Or government helps them to find a job. I don't know.
But do you say that there is no affirmative action in Russia?
No, I didn't say that.
But you're still for affirmative action.
Yes.
But what's the point of affirmative action is if some people you said they can be cleaners. What if the person was really successful in school and he wants to go to the good university but he gets rejected? So he has to work his whole life as a cleaner or
The fact is that government still helps minority people to find a job.
not from the Middle East as you said.
From where?
From Middle East.
From Middle East.
Okay, guys, I got to
From
stop it
Middle
there.
Asia.
Thank you for your questions. Can I turn it over to Team B? I'll give you about a minute to ask questions and let Team A respond.
Questions.
That's your
Ah,
question. Yes, you.
Anybody can ask from the
of
team.
course.
Anybody.
And you?
Why do you think isn't it good to help like the minority in a country?
Because you should help other people as well. If they live in your country, if they're citizens of your country, why shouldn't you help them? Ну да.
Why
Да.
do you think that they should be
Я же
favored?
говорю то, что я агент.
Why do you think that they should be favored
То, что
than others? Why do you think they should be favored than others?
Because
They're the minority.
like they don't have many rights as the citizens.
No, but
they don't have. Like,
Just
they
to
don't-
clarify, minorities are citizens. African Americans are citizens, for example, in the United States. They're just a minority.
they have
Doesn't mean
equal
they're not
rights. But affirmative action give them more rights because they're the minority. So
It's
why they
not
should
fair,
have more?
because they were discriminated in the past.
So
It doesn't mean they're discriminating now.
Why not?
Let's
They
pass
don't
the
have
about
a
what's
chance
going on
to
now.
like go to maybe they were uneducated and they They do if they are
life isn't easy.
as good as the majority, they get a chance to go to university. They get a chance to have a good work, a better job. But it doesn't mean that we need to help them more because they are minority. Even they don't have the good merit.
Okay, guys, I gotta stop there. Thank you for your questions and answers. You can keep thinking about questions, and as well a couple more sessions. Becca, I think you're up.
Yep.
Person 3.
Unusual.
Good morning. So everyone knows that right now the world is as equal as it's ever been. There is almost no racism and no segregation in most of the countries. Of course, there are some ethnicity problems with some ethnic groups, but it's as stable and as equal as it's never been. So why would we have the affirmative action if affirmative action is basically racism but backwards? And if we would remember all the stories from the old past, when the one nation would fight the other one and one nation would lose, then we wouldn't all, like, none of us would be friends with each other due to religion problems or due to ethnicity problems. So I think if we would have affirmative action, but we should have it on something else. For example, as the bill from the video said, we should have it on the poverty or people like with less skilled, for example, handicaps or something similar. And if we would have it, it's better because we don't segregate the races because it's discrimination and racism backwards. So we shouldn't do something like racism again, because it makes us remember it more. And there is a really good quote which says, "Don't worry about the past, it's gone." Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Becca. Question 4, I think it's Frankie.
So, my team doesn't agree affirmative action is a good policy, as everybody here knows that it reverses racism from one to the others. From the lately Michigan case on the news, the voters of Michigan want to ban the affirmative action in the public university. It means the academic office think of racial as a consideration. It's a good thing that black people or the other ethnic groups have more chances to have a better education. However, it doesn't mean that we can take away the white people's rights. Statistically speaking, the AST result in 2010 shows that only 7% of black students are prepared for college level math. Mr. Dupree, can I show the
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just
That one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys, I'll put up the graph here for Frankie. Try to look at the data.
So we can see from the graph here, the black students have much lower average scores than the others. However, there's a greater chance they get accepted to the university instead of the hardworking white students, just because of they are black. Furthermore, so you can see here, furthermore, I believe that civil rights should be the same equal freedom for everyone. But affirmative action doesn't help everyone have the equal rights. It even shows inequality in the United States. That's
Thank you, Frankie. Becky, you can push the bottom left button. So persons 3 and 4, I think so.
So I'm just going to talk about the 4.
The bottom 2. Bottom 2, both of them. There we go.
So I read a recent article by Marcia Binko where this person, she put a word in the Supreme Court known as Sonia Sotomayor. She gave an intense opinion about her views about the affirmative action, and by grabbing attention by speaking bravely, but opinions sometimes got vague and out of hand. But she got into the minds and disapproved of an language does not prove that most of the important legal minds in the nation aren't immune, and also from the sexist attacks. The use of the race based on preference as part of the admission process for the states universities was decided over the very strong objections of Justice And she gave a quote in this saying that a majority of the Michigan elegants changed the basic rule of the political process in the state in the manner that the discrimination is a very big part of this, and also the racial minorities. She also said that this could be changed by, or this could be stopped by, is to openly speak and can also deal with the subject to apply the Constitution and to open their eyes about their rights. Thank you.
Hello everyone.
You need the screen.
Yeah, but later.
Would you just type? Okay, yeah, you're good.
Um,
It's the other document on the other tab.
should I put it on?
Whenever you're ready. It should be the next tab over.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me when you're ready and I'll put it up on the screen.
Okay. Universities around the world have always been in use of affirmative action, and they always will use it. Me and my group hope. Harvard University, if all of you, of course, know it, use affirmative action to accept students, and it works out well for them for the most of the time. Harvard use it because they want equality between all of the students, and they want to make everything in a better way so that all the students have better chances in succeeding. However, we support students starting with a disadvantage. Because when they start with a disadvantage, they need a boost to help them do better in their career. And some stereotypes may never be broken without affirmative action. If we want to break a stereotype, we need to use affirmative action. Furthermore, it also helps the people who are a minority or were not given a chance in their country to show what they have. According to the 1998 US Department of Labor, blacks are almost twice as likely as whites to be unemployed. And that's like twice, you times it by 2, so a lot of people from the black people are unemployed according to this article. And if you can see, blacks they will be hurt by their future careers, and it's at 33%. And whites will always be successful in their future career, and they'll always be accepted. And that's a big number of people that will not be accepted from this article.
So that's based on their race?
Yes.
Okay.
And thank you.
Thank you. All right, so Team A on my side, you can you've got 1 minute to pose questions to Team B. Team B, you can respond, and then we'll switch over. Okay, go ahead.
Who's asking who?
This team can ask that team.
Majid, why do you think it's fair for universities to accept from affirmative action, not from people's hard work?
The people who have disadvantages, like shortage of money, and they don't have good education, need to have a boost so that they can be successful in life.
But affirmative action supports ethnic group, not poor people.
And
So maybe a white a white student could be poor and not be accepted, while a black student is rich and has more advantage than the white student.
But when you don't have anything successful, you need a boost so that you can have a future career that is good for you. So when they give you a boost, you can do a lot of things in your life.
But they're giving a boost to the black advantage.
Not only black, minority.
What about the poor white people who works hard?
Minority,
They're
they
not
give them
minorities.
affirmative.
White people are minorities.
No, poor white people are.
No, they're not considered minorities in
They're majorities.
Yes. Poor people.
There are a
Poor,
lot of poor people in America and other countries.
Affirmative action supports only ethnic groups, not
Poverty.
not poverty.
But when you give someone a chance, they'll not prove you wrong.
Okay, let's turn it over to the other team. Team B, you have a question you might propose to Team A. Remember everyone, go ahead, Maya, you want to say something?
Yeah, Frankie, you said reverse racism a couple of times, and then that whites don't have equal rights. What do you exactly mean by that? I think in the US, everyone has the same rights, but when we support majority more, it's not fair to white people anymore.
Can I answer the question? Reverse racism comes from where a group of people are favored than others. Like in the past, it came because the white people were favored more than the black. If the black are more favored now, they would have the opposite racism.
As I said in my speech, black are not favored in America. There's still people who think black should be slaves.
Yeah, but that's why the government in university favors them, because some people are still racist and still conservative against it.
You just said, Beckham,
Yeah, you just said that you're for
the racism is very a little percentage.
Yeah, but no, I didn't say it's very little. I said it's like the best it's ever been.
So
Okay, let's stop there.
But I didn't say there is no racism at all. Like it's the best time we've ever lived in this world. Like there is the smallest racism as it's ever been, probably.
the smallest but the biggest.
One smallest big.
Okay, let's continue with persons 5 and 6 on each team, and then we'll have one more session of questioning for both.
Can I say something not related to the debate?
I want to have enough time if it's quick, yeah.
This
Okay.
is wrong. It wasn't worth it.
Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after. I was just using the textbook. Okay. Okay, go ahead and persons 5.
Hello everyone. I don't think carry out the affirmative action is a good solution to help people who face racism. And actually, affirmative action has a negative effect for our society, such like some universities accept black people and decline white students who have high grades because of affirmative action required a limited percentage of in universities for black people, and it also brings a new problem for our society. And many things can be fair judged by the way affirmative even could bring the new racist group because of society resource divide unequal, such like people have different class of education, and they got different job, like such like some people have higher job in company, and some people have like such like cleaner in this company. Thank you.
Thanks. Person 6.
You're back here.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, You may think that affirmative action is a way out of racism, but actually it brings other problems that cause racism and separation. So just imagine for a second there is a situation where black and white person are applying to university, and the white person, he is more intelligent, he has better grades, and black one doesn't, and still the black one got accepted to university. And then in some years, you or your relatives need to have a surgery, and this black guy is gonna make this surgery, and probably he's gonna fail. Imagine your feelings when you lose someone, or you lose your life just because of someone is not that intelligent and didn't have that much scores, but he got accepted and then failed. So this leads to idea that affirmative action has a kind of justice, like gives a help to the black people, but actually it reverse the racism and people getting separated. I think, and my team think, that people just should be color blinded, and they should look at the people's achievements and scores, and not color or ethnicity, wherever you're black, white, Hispanic, or Asian. Thank you. Peace.
Thanks, sir. Person 6 from the other team, or person 5 and 6 from the other team. Okay,
Morning. Affirmative action is one of the most effective ways in order to readdress the injustice that was caused by the United States and its historic discrimination against the people of color and women, in order to make what was wrong once right again. A centuries-long legacy of racism and sexism has not been completely forgotten, even now in the 21st century. We need affirmative action now more than ever in order to help and increase chances for minorities and black people and also people of other colors. Thank you.
Jay.
As Team A seems to be, they think meritocracy is essential. But if it were to be practiced, everyone should be like equal. Like they should enter a fight from the same playing field, which does not happen. African Americans have been slaves for a lot of years. They had no freedom and no experiences, and they had no chance to earn money. And they do not have same backgrounds as whites. Whites were like very rich at that moment, but blacks were always slaves and they had no chances. And they have no inspiration to fight to achieve things that would indicate their merit because they're physically intimidated. And another research I've seen is it gives bad workplaces for all minorities. When someone enters work because of the affirmative action, the workers who are already in the works thinks that they're not very good or nor they're very intelligent. But to get rid of this is to work together as a team with co-workers and get feedbacks like if this was good or this was bad. And if the time passes by, African Americans can catch up other workers or even be better at than workers who are already in the works. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. We'll move on to the last question and answer. So I'll turn it over to Team A a minute or about. Okay, go ahead, Becca.
Yash, why you said that it's a time when affirmative action is mostly needed?
Why did I say that?
Yeah.
Because in order to...
Well, why it's like the time for it is now?
With a black president.
Yeah.
Because there's still a lot of racism going on in
Yeah, but it's the best time it's ever been.
Well,
Why we didn't need it mostly like
50 years before, 60 years before, when there wasn't slavery, but still there was a lot of segregation till the Jim Crow laws were passed. And
Yeah,
this
that's
stuff.
very correct. I get it. But before, people didn't really care as much, if you know what I mean. So like, they wouldn't even think about affirmative action. But now that we're taking into consideration, it's better to be very.
No, I don't think we should be. And Jay, I have a question for you. As I said in my quote, don't worry about the past, it's gone. And you're still saying about the past, like it's been segregation and like where white people were rich. There were a lot of families who moved to America without any money, and most of them were like prisoners or like low income people. And
But they had still chance to earn money, but black people were not able to do anything because there was slavery.
yeah, but don't worry about the past.
It's gone.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Jay, imagine the situation like you're gonna apply to university and like you won't be accepted and you will be told that, oh, you know, this like guy, he had like poor grades, but you know, he's black. His family was, they were slaves and stuff, like 60 years ago, that's why he needs to be accepted. Will you be satisfied? And you were like working hard and your parents like were paying money for the school and stuff and just, that's what you, like, answer you get.
No one should be favored than other.
But no fun.
I'll actually apply to another.
But you really want to this one, like this is, you know, this is your future. This is where you want to go. This is the best university of like I know.
Well, if
Medicine, you know, or
If you
something.
have excellent
Well-
grades, they will apply to you.
No.
No,
Well,
if,
they give
if
you a
if you
college.
don't get accepted, it's the past, it's gone.
Okay, guys,
That doesn't make sense.
I want to flip it over to Team B to ask questions. If you haven't participated, this is your last chance.
Yeah, Sergi said about like the other problems or
Yeah.
the first line. What do you mean by like other problems you think?
It's like separation. It's gonna be more racism, a lot more because like if people will know, you know, like as they like you know just did example for Jay, you know you're gonna know this like you know some black guy got accepted, but he's like, you know his scores are lower and stuff. You're gonna be more racist. You're gonna these black people, all this like and it's gonna make more wars, more like
How is it?
separation.
How is it more racism and they're doing it now?
It's reverse
It's
racism.
reverse. Just like gonna you know like
You're gonna favor some people over others. But in a democracy, everyone should be treated equally.
you know 100 years ago like blacks they were really like you know separated and like in some parts of US like blacks they couldn't drink water from the same tap whereas like you know white drink, but now it's like everything equal and people just should be like colorblind. They just look at your achievement. You did this great. Okay, there should be some help for poor people. I agree, but not like you know white or black. So
Yeah, but don't you think that affirmative action, if there's some policy, is better than having no policy against the or race?
No, it's
I
it's
just
good
said
if the poor.
colorblind.
It's good
and
for the
homophobia.
poor, not for the race.
Alright, so imagine if you were black instead. How would you feel then? If you were discriminated against? Now.
Now, no one is discriminated.
discrimination. It
How
might
can you
be.
say now there's no discrimination?
Because the president is black.
Just because the president is black.
No, there is a little bit, but not that much.
I
Yes.
didn't know there's a little bit.
So what?
What's your data?
So what?
What's your data?
What's your data?
This is not a fight, man.
Okay, guys, we'll finish up with person 7 and 8. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, when we debate affirmative action, our real debate if inequality is right. Affirmative action is indeed injustice. When we talk about affirmative action, it is for sure wrong. People should not be judged by their race, and as MLK said, not by the color of their skin. What? MLK Jr., not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Ladies and gentlemen, racism will be upon us until the day we believe that all men are equal, until we have no segregation whatsoever, until we consider ourselves as brothers and sisters. For our long journey of fighting racism, do you want to have reverse racism now? Ladies and gentlemen, in this day, I want to address every single one of you. Is it justice for a system where a minority are favored? Does this agree with our idea of democracy? Is it justice? Furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, we believe in a system where merit is over color, where we become colorblind, where only your hard work is taken into account. Moreover, ladies and gentlemen, I stand here before you with a dream closely related to Martin Luther King's dream. I have a dream, ladies and gentlemen, that we will be judged by our merit rather than our color. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a dream that we will not have a system where groups are favored over others. I have a dream that one day we will be all treated equally. God bless Martin Luther King. God bless Mr. Dupree, and God bless English Class B. Thank you.
Nice connection to MLK. Person 7 and 8, team
Right, go.
It's not really, it's good. Oh, that's 7 and 8?
Yeah.
7 and 8, yeah.
7, 8.
You said it, I mean.
Okay, my
7.
Yeah.
So once again, we strongly believe affirmative action is a good policy because it will help to create a colorblind society in which fewer people are discriminated against because of not being able to get a good education and job training. A well-planned affirmative action policy could help to support students and workers who are uneducated and have not had the same opportunities as people who come from more privileged backgrounds. If there is no affirmative action policy, then there will certainly be fewer minorities in the workplace. People are hired from jobs because of their experience and skills, but often access to quality education or the chance to learn important job skills that will allow them to compete for job more fairly with non-minority job seekers.
Thanks, Marianne. You want to finish this up?
Excuse me. So, ladies and gentlemen, I stand here before you as I stand here before you as begging you to understand how minority and black people have problems in America and in other countries of the world. They have been enslaved for the past, and unlikely like white people, they don't have much resources at the moment. They're sitting at their homes with candles and trying to read a few words to learn more and get in a good college. Let's not take that away from them. Let's not waste their time of all that long nights with a bit of light of candle and a piece of worksheet filled with information getting into their brains, and let's not waste this for them. Let's give them a chance and let's hope that they make best out of it. We and my team, me and my team, we believe that affirmative action is a really effective and efficient action, and it's showing its results also in America too. And we believe that you guys should be for it too. And as many of you said, there's still racism in America, and it should be gone by now after all those slave years.